What is going on, guys? It is Luke back here with another one after ages and ages and no review. You guys know how it is. Life gets in the way sometimes, and this is actually a special review considering it's the one I haven't done one in a very long time. And I'm probably gonna suck at it, and you get to watch me stumble over my words and shit. It's gonna be fun. No, but in all seriousness, a lot's changed. You know, a little bit older now. We did 80 shitty quality reviews. I think this is album review number 82 or some shit like that, if I counted correctly. But yeah, I'm back. I just kind of, got bored. Wanted to do something a little bit fun. Wanted to do like a little throwback thing that I used to always do. In a little bit of a different format. It's kind of similar format. You know how it is. A lot's changed though. I've graduated school. I'm working a full-time job now. Real life gets in the way. So I can't promise that I'll keep this up. But every now and again, whenever it crosses my mind, I can do this. And yeah, I decided to do a Goatwhore review. I wanted to do a little Goatwhore review. This Goatwhore album is called Eclipses of Ages into Black. Released in 2000. Good year. I feel like the 2000s were an interesting year though. If I have to be honest with you, it was kind of that transition in between old school metal and kind of like the modern day is what we're kind of getting a lot now. And it was just kind of a weird time, but it was a cool time. It was a really cool time to kind of see. I think this was kind of the peak of live shows, live audiences. The mid 90s to the early 2000s was kind of the peak of live shows before the whole Pantera incident and all that shit happened. This is the wrong review, wrong band to talk about that sort of thing in. But you know what I mean. Like that whole incident kind of changed live shows in 2004 forever. So you kind of had 10 years of the peak of live shows. Obviously the fucking 70s and 80s, you can't go wrong there. But I'm talking about, I feel like live shows were at their prime in the mid 90s to early 2000s. But yeah, Acid Bath, we can talk about that for a minute. They have a new little reunion tour coming up with Sammy Duet. Got the whole band back together, which we're all fucking excited about and happy about. I mean, some people, it's just kind of like that Pantera reunion. Yeah, I went to that too. Fight me. But, people are going to call it a money grab, this and that and the other. But it's cool, especially, whenever you're like 20 and Acid Bath was fucking broken up by the time that you were even fucking born. So it's kind of cool that you get to go back in time and get to, reminisce. It's kind of the old school times. And go back and see what it's like. Obviously, they're older now, so it's not going to be as good of a show. It's not going to be as fucking wild again as in the mid 90s whenever they were active. But it's still cool to kind of get to go back, and see all that shit happening and kind of witness it, I think that's really cool. This is, like I said, their first full length, and it's got a killer fast opening. I could have swore whenever I first got into it that it was like a grindcore album. How fast this album just starts out compared to, I guess, other Goatwhore shit I've heard before I sat down and listened to this actual like full length. I didn't ever realize how fast their shit actually was. It's like, and I see why some people, which, they call it death thrash. I see why some people say it's got a little bit of a grind element in there. And I can 100% see that. Now, this album, we're going to go into a little bit of the details of it. It's released on February 22nd, 2000 on Rotten Records. And the lineup is Sammy Duet on guitars and vocals. He does backup vocals. Louis Benjamin Falgoss II, full fucking name adding there. He's going to be the lead vocalist, obviously. Patrick Bruders. He's going to be on bass. Zach Nolan's going to be on drums, and Ben Stout on, I guess, backup guitars. Or he may be lead guitars, but I'm pretty sure Sammy's lead guitars. Now, just like I used to do back in the day. If you're unfamiliar with Goatwhore, I'm going to do it just like I did back in the old reviews, the old days. I'm going to give you a little rundown, a little biography and history of the band, just a little short one. It shouldn't take too long. Uh, I know some people complained about this back in the day too. They were like, "Hey, I already know this fucking band. I wanted to hear your opinions on the album, not somebody else's opinion." Well, everybody's opinion is going to be similar if they're fans of the band. And plus, if you don't know fans of the band, these videos are kind of to help guide you and get you into the band and learn a little bit about, a history of the band. More than a review, this content's more of like metal history too. You know what I mean? And we may do some metal news. I mean, the fucking channel is called Metal Media News. So we may do some metal media news here in the future too, if we want to. We kind of just, But, like I said, Goatwhore is a black death metal band from New Orleans, Louisiana. And they formed in 1997. And luckily, they're still active to this day. And their main lyrical themes are darkness, anti-religion, and Armageddon. Very good lyrical themes, very majestic, very, straight to the point, very fuck you-esque lyrical themes to them. And that's one of the reasons that we all love Goatwhore, all know and love Goatwhore for. So now to the review. Most metalheads, whenever they think of Norwegian bands, they probably think, Dark Throne, Immortal, 1349. They think of, in the realms of black metal, they think of famous Norwegian bands like that. Of course, you have the whole history, the whole mainstream rundown, Mayhem and Burzum. Of course, whenever most people think of it. But, because black metal is really largely Scandinavian themed, it's a really particular Norwegian genre of heavy metal that's dominated by bands from the region. And the pure concentrated satanic darkness that is black metal has migrated over to New Orleans here and corrupted the band known as Goatwhore. Goatwhore's debut album, Eclipse of Ages into Black, is clearly black metal. Like I said, whenever I got into the album, it sounded like grindcore, but you can tell based off of listening to it. You get 3 or 4 tracks in, it's clearly black metal, and it's obviously influenced by Norwegian counterparts. But Goatwhore has also added their own twist to the genre. It'd probably be better to call Goatwhore a black and death metal band, but there aren't very many noticeable death metal influences on this record. The production quality is very good, and the album has a very clear sound to it, unlike other black metal, obviously, that has, one of the biggest trademarks is shitty sound quality, but this has really good ones. The guitar work and drumming's probably the most obvious influences of death metal that's on this album, which are mid to fast-paced, mostly being fast-paced and playing, and that's somewhat heavier than typical black metal, if I have to be honest with you. And one thing I do like particularly about the guitar riffs that I think other black metal albums have a problem with is that most of them are quite memorable. Like, you can listen to this and like pick out a riff and be like, it's from this song or it's from that song. Like, the two albums that I've heard sound like the same guitar riffs over and over and over again from Emperor, And a lot of them, they just don't really stick out a whole lot at all. And that's one problem. And I'm a black metal fan. It's my favorite metal genre ever since I've been, which it used to be thrash metal, but I kind of converted into black metal somewhere along the lines. But this album, it has very memorable riffs that black metal doesn't have, and that's one flaw with black metal. Now, my favorite track on this album is The Beauty in Suffering Right Now. It's a very good track, and I'm actually going to play you a little bit of it.
The beauty in suffering.
Oh man. Now if that's not fucking killer, I don't know like really what's wrong with your ears, because that right there is just pure 90s metal at its fucking finest, man. And there's really nothing else you can say about it. I mean, it's amazing. And I actually have a fun story to tell about this. The whole thing about how I got into Goatwhore is really weird, because it may not be, it's a little bit different than how other people got into Goatwhore. I do want to say, the way I actually ended up getting into Goatwhore was, like, I've heard about it, like, my good friend Chaos, or whatever y'all want to know him by, that owns this channel here. I've heard about it. He told me about Goatwhore before I went to see him live in 2023. But I went and seen Goatwhore live in 2023, and it was funny. I went with my dad, and we both got in. It was like they were playing in like a little, small time bar, shit like that. And it was funny because we was actually the first people that got in the bar, like before the bar even opened, like before admission even ever happened. So we get in there, and it's just Sammy and the rest of the guys in Acid Bath chilling. And I'm like, dude, that's fucking Sammy from Acid Bath. Or like, what are we doing right here? So I go up, I meet him, I shake his fucking hand. I really wish I had my phone on me during that time, and I might have did. I might have just not thought about it because I was just so in awe and shock. I mean, fucking metal legend right here. But I actually got the Goatwhore shirt that I currently own from Sammy. I bought it from Sammy, gave him the money, purchased it. It's one of a cool, it's a cool ass metal memory I like to share with all the people that I talked to about it. It was awesome. And that's really how I became an actual fan of Goatwhore, and what made me check out more of their albums and more of their music. So, a little fun fact right there in the middle of the review. Now, vocally, Goatwhore pretty much sticks to the traditional black metal shrieks. Fogos vocals have a raspier sound to them than what you normally expect in black metal vocals. At times, though, he adopts a vocal style that's best described as mumbling. In some tracks, you'll hear it, particularly in the Layer of Nastrond. He adopts a vocal style that makes me think of a tormented soul that can't find its way to the afterlife or some shit, some mythical shit like that. Y'all know how black metal is. But yeah, I definitely recommend this album. This is a fucking killer album. I'm gonna give it a solid. Let me think for a minute. I kind of want to give this a solid 8 out of 10. It's a good ass album, and I'd 100% recommend it. Eclipse of Ages into Black gets a solid 8 out of 10 for me. It's brutal and heavy as fuck, as always. If you enjoyed the review, hey, make sure to leave a request and tell me what you'd want me to review more. Like I said, I'm not going to be trying to do them as frequently as I used to, just because I don't have the time as I had back in the day. But like I said, I'll try to do them like maybe once a month. Just kind of bring it back. Do like a little special thing. Give my thoughts on different albums. Maybe once a week if, Chaos wants to go ahead and do a couple reviews or whatever. But he doesn't really have the equipment. The main reason I wanted to make this review is because I have a pretty good computer right now that can run multiple screens at once, so I can have multiple things going on at once. And so it was awesome. It's been a good little flashback. I had a fucking great time making this review, by the way. I mean, it's been so fucking long, and it's just like, it's kind of a blast from the past making this. But anyways, yes, if you enjoyed, leave a like. Subscribe to the channel, Metal Media News 1098, bitch. And, y'all have a good rest of y'all's day, and stay fucking heavy and stay fucking brutal, as always.